Hey guys, Keeks here. I'm back with another episode about expectation in uncertainty. As investors or traders, we take risks on a frequent basis. We study history, run back and forward tests, we go over data, and do the most we can to realize an edge in order to generate alpha in the market. All of this work, but yet still no certainty about any individual outcome. There's no guarantee of results. So how does one have any confidence to stick to his or her system when things get hard? They have to possess the expectation of results over a longer period of time, i.e., a greater sample set. Generating an expectation can be dangerous in games of uncertainty because who's to say, even after a greater sample set, that you will actually come out ahead and if your edge is truly valid? No one but the market. Expectation then must be the confidence instilled from deep work, timeless market principles, a firm and flexible process, as well as an unwavering will to find solutions. Expectation is not just reserved to your system, it is more so reserved to you and your frameworks. After a losing streak, you will never take the next trade if you don't expect that you have a profitable system. After a market shift, you will never find ways to adjust well unless you expect that you know how to adapt, tweak, and possibly develop new edges. After much success, you will never grow further if you don't expect that you can put in the grueling hours and refine your process loops to adhere to the necessary changes for growth to inhabit. Expectation is a tool to displace individual, random outcomes. A system must factor in all possible outcomes. If you have a system with a 50% win rate and a 1 to 2 risk to reward, losing on a trade or a couple of trades should have no bearing, as the system should have failure built into it. In other words, certain types of losses are built into the expectation. As Annie Duke says, you cannot be wrong on an idea that has no guaranteed outcome, either 0% or 100%, just because the most likely result does not unfold. Expectation is rooted in controllable actions and past precedents. This is the only way to have confidence in your expectations. While history is no perfect indication of the future, it does provide invaluable information to build some frameworks and mental models around. As Ray Dalio says, everything is another one of those. Studying history can equip you with some of the tools from the past to fight in the current world today. Expectation is tricky because it is reinforcing. The more a trading setup or set of investing rules produce good results, the more you believe they are good rules, the more you will continue to follow those sets of rules. Expectation is dangerous when it does not consider a big enough sample set. This is dangerous because not realizing the risk of ruin is the ultimate failure. Without chips, you cannot play. Furthermore, even if you have a positive edge, overbetting can still bring you to your knees and bankrupt you. Expectation is dangerous when it is rooted in limiting beliefs. If you expect something to be true or false with rigidity because of a lack of open-mindedness, you will pay the consequence. Expectation can trap us into certain ways of thinking and ultimately tie up more emotion and ego into the outcomes of decisions, potentially impeding future decisions. Expectations is often looked at as a bad thing in uncertain games, but it is a framework tool. There's opportunity in correctly framing expectations in process, hard work, and playing the long game that will aid you on your journey. Expectation by definition is having a strong belief about something. Everybody is going to believe in something strongly. It may as well be entrusted to the things we can control and our attitude towards future events. Like emotions, which often get a bad rap, they are just a tool, a mechanism that could be used to strengthen you rather than break you. Like risk, there is an ideal mix. Too little risk, and you will find it very hard to roll ahead. But too much risk, and even the greatest system on the planet will eventually go bust. Expectation should be balanced on the scale of psychology, and everybody's scale measures slightly differently. Ultimately, it should fairly balance controlled risk on a long time frame, habits and process loops, and the ability to problem solve. I have expectations for the long run despite short-term fluctuations. I expect to continue to grow because my habits and process loops allow me to constantly improve myself. I expect to find my way through any problem because of my ability to think and work deeply to solve my problems. Expectations are tricky because it requires us to pull on the events of the past and desire in the future. It seems to be depriving us of being in the present. But I think expectation, when done correctly, actually enhances our ability to internalize the present, as the present becomes the past, and that will shape our understanding of the future. Additionally, I don't believe anybody operates out of zero expectations. We are humans, we have biases, tendencies, beliefs, and our experiences and expectations guide us. Expectations in the long run are a positive if done correctly. They can raise the bar and hold you to higher levels of accountability. To contrast, expectations in the short term and giving short term feedback too much power is a faulty use of expectation. It should be derived on a longer time frame and based on a process and framework that, even in uncertain environments, one has control over their own actions, not the individual outcomes that unfold, but over the actions themselves, and that the actions have some bearing on the results over a great enough period of time, such that finding and doing certain sets of actions will yield sweet fruit. Great athletes, like great traders and investors, are fully aware that anything can happen. That is why they prepare meticulously, go over the opponent's, market's recent performance and tendencies, their own game, and try to cover as many possible situations as they can to be fully prepared for uncertainty. But these people likewise balance this uncertainty with a high degree of expectation rooted in the processes, frameworks, and effort they have put in. It's truly a dance of contradictions that one has to be able to flip-flop between to maintain a high performance, even keel. But both sides of the coin are greatly needed. Without expectation, you will never perform confidently. Without the detachment of individual outcomes, uncertainty will break you. If one is truly in the game for the long haul, time, placing themselves in situations where the risk is asymmetric to the reward, opportunity, putting in the groundwork, effort, and evolving their processes and mental models, frameworks, then I say, in the short run, accept all. In the long run, expect great.